Yeah. Yo, step into the ring where the stories get raw. Junkyard James spitting truth, no flaw. Beyond the junkyard, the tales collide. Wrestling's wild side, come and take the ride. Chairs fly, ropes snap, legends unfold. Every move, every slam, the drama is gold. From the underground brawls to the title fights, we break it all down under spotlight nights. Beyond the junkyard, where the stories get told. Steel cages, bright lights, the moment so bold. From the past to the future, the mat stays strong. Junkyard James, keep it real all day long. Tune in, strap up, it's about to get wild. Powerbomb the truth, no sugar, no mild. Every heel, every face, every match that burns. The junkyard delivers, now it's your turn. So hit play, no delay, the bell has rung. Beyond the junkyard, where the legends are sung. Junkyard James got the mic in his grip. Wrestling podcast vibes, now let's take the trip.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another solo Saturday episode of the Beyond the Junkyard podcast. I'm your host, Junkyard James, and we're back, and we're bringing back the Saturday solo shows. We took a bit of a hiatus for the Saturday shows for quite a while now. I was finishing up my master's program, and doing some other podcasting things outside of the pro wrestling game, but I've just decided I want to get back into the Saturday game, baby. The solo shows, as much as I thoroughly enjoy the Thursday live streams with my guy Cody. These Saturday shows are really fun for me. They allow me to speak my mind on certain things that I don't feel like maybe fit the live stream, and maybe not topics that are good for that setting. And so it allows me to really talk about what I really feel, the nitty-gritty of some topics. And so that's what we're going to get into today. I said it on the Thursday live stream. We're going to break down the Buffalo Bills 2026 schedule game by game. I have a feeling already, my initial thoughts pre-training camp on how the Buffalo Bills should be able to perform. How many wins will they get? How many losses will they get? Are they going to be the AFC East champions once again after the Patriots won the division last season? We'll also break down Game 6 of the Buffalo Sabres versus the Montreal Canadiens tonight. And it's win or go home for Buffalo, and the Buffalo fans are used to a second-round exit with the Buffalo Bills, but will they be able to get to a third round with the Sabres? I'll break that down, what they need to do to guarantee a win tonight in Montreal against the Canadiens. Then we'll switch things over to our wrestling topic. Ever since Darby Allin has won the AEW World Championship, he has been putting on banger after banger of a match, and he has another match tonight on Collision against Sammy Guevara for the AEW Championship. But his title reign, while good in the ring, hasn't shown in the metrics and the viewership. In fact, the numbers continue to drop since Darby Allin has won the title. But I'm going to ask a hard question about the metrics. Is this Darby Allin's fault, or could there be other things that are factoring in to the decline in viewership? Also recap SuperCard of Honor that happened last night. And I'll tell you what I thought was good, what I thought was bad, and everything in between. And then in our monologue, everybody's favorite segment, we will close the show I don't want to spoil it in the beginning, so I'll share with you that topic when we get there. But let's jump into our first segment. But first, before we do that, some housekeeping rules. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Make sure that you support our podcast wherever you're watching, whether that's YouTube, whether that's listening on the audio platforms, if I ever remember to update them on a weekly basis. We're probably behind a few episodes again, but if you listen to the audio format, I appreciate you. Leave us a review, subscribe or follow wherever you are. Share these episodes with your wrestling friends, and let's create a community there. And we got to thank our partner for today's episode, and that is W Energy, your taste buds favorite energy drink. And listen, it's a really good product that they partner with us and we have a partnership with them, but I really thoroughly, even if we didn't, I think their product is really good. And it's something that you should be able to try. And don't take my word for it. Try it yourself, because we got a little something for you. Go ahead and use the code Beyond the Yard at w.gg, and you can save 10% off your order. And we're making it even easier for you to be able to go to the site, scan that QR code in the top left of the screen there, and you can go get you some of W's energy drink. W is a powdered energy drink that replaces inferior caffeine beverages. It contains 0 maltodextrin, 0 fillers, 0 artificial colors and dyes. There's none of those proprietary blends that all these other companies are talking about. The star of the show is the coffee fruit extract, which helps you focus, gives you the energy through the day without the jitters or the crash. It's your taste buds favorite energy. Go to w.gg or scan that code in the top left-hand corner. Use the code Beyond the Yard to save 10% on your order. All right, let's get into the show today. The Buffalo Bills 2026 schedule has been released. I'm pulling it up for you. Here we go. They start this season. They got a second place schedule after finishing second in the division to the New England Patriots last year. And the question we all are asking ourselves is, how good are the Buffalo Bills going to be this season? And so that's our question for the segment. How good do you think the Buffalo Bills are going to be? Go ahead, comment your thoughts below. Join the conversation. Here we go. Week number 1, the Buffalo Bills start on the road to play the Houston Texans. And this one is a tough game for Buffalo for a multitude of reasons. One, the Buffalo Bills always seem to lose games on the road in Houston. Houston plays us really well. In recent history, we have not had much success against the Texans at NRG Stadium in Houston. You think about that playoff loss where the Bills were up 16-3 and ended up losing 19-16. You think about the game last year where the Texans Josh Allen had a really bad game, lots of turnovers, and the Bills were on their way to making the comeback but came up just short. This is going to be a tough game. This is one of the better defenses in the NFL, Houston's defense, and it's going to be a challenge because it's the first week that we get to see how good our defense is going to be and how good the offense is going to be under new head coach Joe Brady and offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael and new D coordinator Jim Leonard. And so we're going to be tested early here in week 1. Ultimately, though, I do think the Buffalo Bills, because it is week 1, they come out and they get a road win to start the season. They go 1-0. The home opener is just 4 days later. Thursday Night Football. They open the brand new stadium in prime time against the Detroit Lions. And we come from one really tough defense to another really tough defense. But this Lions team is one that they've gone from top of the world in the NFC North to like, are they even going to finish second or third place this year? The Packers are seemingly gotten better. The Bears look really good, and the Lions, they're just, ever since they lost Ben Johnson, seem to, last year was not a great year. Can the Lions turn it around? Nevertheless, this is a tough game for the Buffalo Bills on a short week, having to come from Houston into Buffalo, playing on a short week. It's going to be a tough game. But I have no doubt that Josh Allen, who is Mr. Thursday, I think coming into last season, he was undefeated in Thursday night games. And I think that changed when I think he lost the Thursday game last year. I'd have to double check that, but Josh Allen has usually been really good on Thursday nights. I think that doesn't change here, and the Bills will start their season 2-0. They stay at home and they get a mini bye, a 10-day break to play the LA Chargers in Buffalo, week 3, and yeah, I think we beat them. I think we are a better team than the Chargers. They go 3-0 to start the year. And then the New England Patriots come into town, and this is a tough one, but I'll give away the secret here. I do think the Bills and the Patriots will probably more than likely split the series. And in my case, like the Patriots, I'll be honest, they're a good team, but I think the early season matchup, barring any significant injuries for the Buffalo Bills, I do think they have a better team than the New England Patriots at this point of the season. It's in Buffalo week 4, and I think the Bills take game 1 of the series against the New England Patriots this year. They move to 4-0 to start the season. In week 5, things don't get any easier. I think this might be that the Chargers I think the Chargers made the playoffs last year, if I remember correctly. The only team out of the first 5 weeks that didn't make the playoffs, I believe, is the Lions, but they're a playoff caliber team. We got the Rams, who they're a good team. They were a Super Bowl favorite until the mystery of the Seahawks came out, and they stormed that division and eventually won the Super Bowl. Puka Nacua, Matt Stafford, Devontae Adams, I think, still there. They got a dominant offense. Sean McVay, one of my favorite coaches in the NFL. I think this is on the road. They got to travel to LA, and I think the Bills take a loss here. I think this is the first loss of the season for Buffalo. They moved to 4-1, and it's going to be a tough game in prime time against a really good Rams team. I'm going Rams get the W. Bills take the loss. Move to 4-1. They have the Raiders, and this should be an easy game. The Raiders are a team in rebuild mode. They got Fernando Mendoza. Is he even going to be playing at this point, or is it Kirk Cousins playing the Bills? This is another road game, but I think it's an easier game for the Bills to play than the Rams, and I think the Bills get back on the winning horse. They go to 5-1 as they go to their bye week. So they end the bye week. Come into the bye week at 5-1. If the Bills come into the bye week at 5-1, I think they're on a good path to being a good in a good position for the rest of the season. Because after the bye week, they play the Baltimore Ravens, and what a game that was to open the season last year. The Ravens were up 15 at one point in time. It seemed like a blowout, but the Bills came storming back, and they won the game at the end there. Josh Allen came in clutch. Well, we got a Week 8 matchup with the Ravens and the Bills, and I think the Bills take it. It's at home. The Ravens are a good team, but they got a new coaching staff, probably a new philosophy. One thing's for certain, Derrick Henry will have over 100 yards in that game. He always has over 100 yards against the Bills, even back into his days with the Tennessee Titans. But I think the Bills have enough weapons to win there and beat the Ravens. They go to 6-1. They go then to Minnesota on the road on Monday Night Football. That's a win there. They'll go to 7-1. Then they got the Jets the week after. That's a win. They'll go to 8-1. And then they got the Dolphins at home, week 11, end of November. That's a dub. They'll go to 10-1. 9-1, I'm sorry. Then they have another short week. They play Thanksgiving Day against the Kansas City Chiefs. Night game for Thanksgiving. This is going to be a tough game. This one was hard for me to pick. I'm uncertain about how good Patrick Mahomes is going to be coming off the injury. There's some doubts for how good the Chiefs are going to be overall as a team. But if they play to the top of their game, the Chiefs will be a tough game here. I still think the Bills win. They beat the Chiefs. As I said earlier, we play the Patriots the first week of December, week 13. So the Bills at this point would have played 12 games. They'd be 11-1. And I think they take a loss here in week 13 to the Patriots in New England. That'll move them to 11-2. Then they got Green Bay on the road. That's a Sunday night game, but I think the Bears can win that one. I'm sorry, the Bills can win that one. Then we got the Bears on a Saturday night game at 8:20, and I think we beat the Bears. We got Denver in Denver on Christmas Day, and Merry Christmas, Buffalo. I think you beat the Broncos, you beat Miami, and you end the season against the Jets, and you beat the Jets again. I think the Buffalo Bills, if all things go right, can end up 15-2 on the season. And notice what I said, if things go right. There are a couple games on this schedule I had a hard time picking. I think we beat the Patriots both one time, but we could lose both times. The Patriots are a good team. I think we beat the Texans, but we could lose to the Texans. We could lose to the Ravens. We can lose to the Chiefs and the Broncos and the Bears. There are a couple games here. If we don't play our best games, we might lose. I think the floor for the Buffalo Bills is probably like 12-5. Like, I think 12-5 would still be a respectable season. But if all things considered, everything goes right, this Bills team, I feel comfortable saying I think they can go 15-2 this season, rebuild their division winning hold. At 15-2, they're going to win the division. And so they will be the number one seed. And the new Buffalo Stadium will be home field advantage for Buffalo. I'm very optimistic for the Buffalo Bills this season. New head coach, new stadium, new scheme, new players, same Josh Allen, new wide receiver one in DJ Moore. I think they haven't given me a reason right now in this offseason to feel as if we shouldn't have a season that we don't win the division. And ultimately, the goal now, they said it at the press conference, Sean McDermott got fired because he couldn't get him to the Super Bowl. It's Super Bowl or bust for Joe Brady, and I think you have a good opportunity this year to do just that. So there it is. 15-2 is my early season prediction for the Buffalo Bills. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Leave a comment there. and we'll see how it goes. And I guess bookmark this because we'll see how it goes at the end of the season. All right, let's move over from stay in Buffalo, but let's talk about the hockey team now instead of the football team. Tonight is game 6 of the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs between the Buffalo Sabres and the Montreal Canadiens. If the Canadiens win, they advance to play the Carolina Hurricanes in the Eastern Conference Finals, but if the Buffalo Sabres can pull off a victory tonight, they advance to a Game 7 Monday if necessary. And here's the deal. What is the problem with the Buffalo Sabres this series? It comes down to two things. Really bad goaltending. I mean, the Canadiens are scoring a lot of goals. Five goals in Game 2, 6 goals in Game 3, six goals in Game 5. The games the Sabres have won, the Canadiens have only scored 2 goals. So here's the key. Keep them to under 3 goals and you have an opportunity to win. The Sabres, on the other hand, they've scored pretty well as well. It's not like the offense is stagnant. 4 goals in Game 1, 2 goals in Game 3, 3 in Game 4, 3 in Game 5. They're scoring goals. They're just giving up way too many goals. And why is that? Well, there's some saves that the goalies, probably should have made, but the key here is, one, they're not playing really aggressive, and two, the defense is very just porous. I mean, Montreal has had multiple breakaway opportunities, multiple opportunities where their forecheck has gotten a turnover, which led to a goal. And the Buffalo Sabres, their defense needs to step up and play a perfect game tonight, or else they're going home. The offense is there. They need the defense to step up. They need the goaltending to step up. I don't even know which goalie is going to play tonight. Does anybody have any confidence in Alex Lyon or Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen? They both have had very bad games in this series, and they have to have an outstanding effort, because on the other side of the aisle there, Dobish has been, like, as much as I don't like the guy because he he's a shit stir, but he's been really good in the net. And so that's where it starts. And if I had one thing to complain about for the Buffalo Sabres offensively, is they in games where they dominate the faceoffs, they typically win the game. Here are some statistics. Game 1 of the series, the Sabres win 4-2, take a 1-0 series lead. The Sabres mysteriously only won 37% of the faceoffs, but they scored 4 goals. It was a very good game for the Sabres that day. Well, game 2, it was kind of the same story at the faceoff dot. They won 43% of the faceoffs, but lost 5-1, because you got to win faceoffs, especially in your own side of the ice. You can't give up easy goals. Game 3, the Sabres lose 6-2. They only win 38% of the faceoffs. You got to win faceoffs. Well, game 4 comes around, and the Sabres come in to tie the series, and guess what, guys? They won 52% of the faceoffs. When you win your faceoffs, you have a better opportunities. Game 5 happens, and they only win 44% of the faceoffs. They lose 6-3 because of just an absolutely preposterous second period for the Sabres in Game 5. Game 6, here are the 3 keys that I have for the Buffalo Sabres. Number 1, defense. The defense must play better. Defense for the Buffalo Sabres. They have to play better hockey. The defense has been downright awful. Number 2, You have to win your face-offs. If you can't win the face-off battle, if you're constantly losing face-offs, you're never going to win the game. The statistics have shown it. You have to win face-offs. And number 3, the third key to the game is be aggressive. Play a more physical game. We're letting Montreal play their style of game. We're not being physical. They're the more physical team. Go back to see the first round when you were the more dominant team against Boston. I mean, that was their physical game, and they've eliminated the physicality. And in those games where they're trying to play the finesse game, there's one too many passes. Shoot the puck, be aggressive, get pucks on the net, hit players reasonably. Don't force on unnecessary turnovers, but be aggressive. It's a win or go home. You have to play a perfect game if you want a Game 7 back in Buffalo. I think it can happen. I think Buffalo can win the game. I wouldn't put any money on it though. I'm in fact, I think my money might be on Montreal because it seems like any bet that I make, I always lose. So, and I want the Sabres to win. So that's that. All right, enough sports talk for now. Let's jump into some wrestling. Darby Allin is the AEW champion. He's supposedly fighting MJF a week from Sunday at Double or Nothing in a championship versus hair match. But he has a championship battle against Sammy Guevara tonight. If Sammy wins, he is the AEW champion. We'll see how Darby Allin does. My guess is he's gonna win, obviously. But my concern here, and look, I'm not one to say that metrics matter more than like the in-ring thing, the show or the fans excited. Darby's been putting on really good matches in his championship run. I think this might be his 6th title defense in the 3 or 4 weeks that he's had the belt, and he's done fairly okay with his championship reign. I have some concerns though. Darby Allin, when he won the title against MJF, back in April, was it? AEW, it was April the 15th, I think. It was the Wednesday before WrestleMania. And my concern here is with the ratings. And I know the ratings don't mean a whole lot. They're not everything. You shouldn't base your assumption on a company based off of metrics. But they are important. They do tell a story, right? So that episode, the Wednesday, April 15th episode of AEW Dynamite from Everett, Washington, rendered 710,000 viewers on the average with the rating scale. We go through the next week, and it goes from 710,000 to 617,000 viewers. Almost losing 100K immediately, right? And we go, and we've talked about this before on the Thursday show. Dynamite this week from Asheville, North Carolina. 585,000 viewers. So from the time that Darby Allin has won the title, they were at 710,000 on the average. They're now down to 585,000 on the average. The losses they bled a lot early, and they're slowly, they're bleeding a little slower now, but they've lost 125,000 average viewers in this period of time, a period of literally a month. They've lost about 17% of their audience in a month over the last month, right? That's not good. That's not good numbers. And now, listen, I'm sure Warner Bros., Discovery, TNT, TBS, they don't really care. They're giving them 3 hours. Dynamite's like next week. Dynamite is 3 hours. They're giving them all these special promotions with Collision. They did the Fairway to Hell thing. I think they're fine where they're at. They're doing decent numbers, but my question is, and this is the concern I had, is can we get these fans back, right? I don't think it's all Darby's fault, right? Like the NHL playoffs are going away, are underway. The NBA playoffs are underway. MLB is back in business. You know, a lot of people watch the news. We're in a very tumultuous time in our politics and foreign and global affairs, and so there might be people who tend to watch the news, or uh, and these numbers don't necessarily reflect Max, and Max numbers, or people who watch AEW.com. And so I know it's not the whole story, but it is a piece of the story. And my concern is, when MJF wins the title back, if MJF wins the title back, do we win those fans back automatically? Because like Darby, I guess on paper, if you've looked at the matches that he's had a pretty decent run. But when you look at the other things, like he's not the number. No one's buying Darby Allin merch and record numbers. No one's buying tickets to shows just to see Darby Allin. No one, and viewers are now not watching the show because maybe Darby Allin is champion. Again, unless you ask the people who stopped watching why they stopped watching, we can't confirm this. But my gut feeling is Darby Allin isn't everybody's cup of tea. And so, and while MJF is everybody's cup of tea, so you change the more likable flavor for the flavor of the month, and you see what happens, you get less people tuning in. And so my hope is when MJF wins the title back, as I think he does win the title back, can we get those fans back? Does viewership jump up again? I'm interested to see the first Dynamite after Double or Nothing. If MJF wins the belt, do we get more fans to watch? Do the people who were watching casually and turned it off when Darby won the belt come back? I'm interested to see. Let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Am I just overthinking this? Like, on paper, the matches Darby Allin is having are really pretty decent matches, but I feel like in the grand scheme of things, he hasn't moved the needle. He hasn't made AEW bigger than it already was. In fact, that he's kind of shrunk the scale of what AEW could be. And long term, is this a memorable title run? That's going to be questioned for years to come. I can't answer that now. It's too early. We'll see in years to come how people view and perceive the Darby Allin championship run. All right. Real quick, SuperCard of Honor was last night. And I thought it was a very good show. Overall. There were a couple things that I didn't agree with the booking. Mostly, wasn't a fan of Bandito retaining the title, I think, and I wasn't a fan of how Athena won the title. I kind of wish they would have given us 2 new world champions, and we could push Bandito fully to AEW, get him out of ROH. We can push Athena out of ROH. Because it feels to me like they're doing the same thing again with ROH in the women's division. And Final Battle, for the 3rd time, we'll have Athena versus Billy Starks. And maybe the 3rd time's the charm for Billy Starks. And she'll actually finally beat Athena in December. That's what it feels like to me. That's where it's leading up to. Bandito, great champion. Swerve came out afterwards and beat the living hell out of him, and that's going to set up their match at Double or Nothing. But I think Blake Christian, man, that match was fucking phenomenal. By the way, I mean, it didn't top last year's Bandito match with Konosuke and Takeshita, but it was still a really good match. I love Blake Christian. I think he would have been and will be a very good champion. Lee Moriarty's always good. I was left a little confused by the Outrunners and Dalton Castle winning the championship, but it's fun. I love STP. It's my favorite faction. I think they said at one time, was it Carly Bravo? He said one time, he said, "This is Shane Taylor Promotions. When your ass is in the corner, use a goner," or something like that. I just love it. I love the infantry. Trisha Dora looked good in her match in that 6-woman survival of the fittest. I was left a little bit perplexed about why they added Zeta Steel just to have her basically get squashed very early in the match. I've learned that pure wrestling is a very good wrestling style. Lee Moriarty had a really good pure match with Ace Austin, and then Deonna Purrazzo had a phenomenal women's pure title match with Diamante. Nigel McGuinness had a good match with Josh Woods. That the comedy there of the commentary thing was great. Red Velvet had a good match for her ROH TV belt, and she gets a TBS title opportunity tonight against Willow Nightingale. Man, I used to dream for nights like this, and I can't wait to see that match tonight. The venue choice. The crowd was dead silent for 75 to 80% of the night. It was like they were sleeping. I don't know if it was because AEW mic'd the venue wrong, or the crowd was just dead. But there was some good wrestling going on, and the crowd seemed very uninterested. I tweeted at one point on our social media page, by the way. If you want to follow us, go ahead and follow us on social media on X at Junkyard HQ. I was live tweeting there, and I said, "Are the fans asleep?" It was quiet. There was some good wrestling going on, and they would pop for some of the poppable, the ultra poppable moments. When the Kingdom came back at Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, they kind of popped a little bit. It was but when the action was happening, it was very quiet. It almost felt like a New Japan show for a minute. Just kind of quiet and just waiting for, the clappable moments to clap along. But there was, I'm used to shows and it's very loud and rambunctious, and the energy is there. I felt no energy, and I think that leads to a bigger problem, because can anybody point out Salisbury, Maryland on a map? I mean, I know about Salisbury, Maryland because of my day job, and we have customers that live in that area, but it's like right there on the Delaware line. I don't get it. I don't get the venue choice here. Why run a pay-per-view at a bingo hall? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what it felt. And this would have been better served to have this show in like Texas, or New York or something like that. If I was Tony Khan, I would have put SuperCard of Honor head to head against Saturday night's main event, and try to run a New York venue, because the crowd just seemed dead. The crowd, just poor venue choices. I feel like, you're going to these markets that are not traditionally wrestling markets, and that's going to be an issue. You know what I mean? I know it's ROH, and I know it's like right across the way from Sandy Fork, Delaware, where Mark Briscoe lives, and I get the sentimental value of it, but man, the crowd was just dead off. That was ugly. I don't know what you guys think of SuperCard of Honor. If you watched it, comment below. Let me know what you think. We're going to end the show here in just a moment with everybody's favorite segment, and that's the monologue. And, well, you know what? Yeah. Let's do it. It's time for the monologue. All right, we're bringing the monologue back. We're going to have a conversation that I know some people are going to be upset about. But honestly, good. Like, fucking good. You know, some wrestling fans, especially modern WWE fans, have developed this bizarre habit of accepting absolute mediocre shit and then pretending that it's genius because it's wrapped up in memes or irony or nostalgia or supposed comedy or whatever it may be. So tonight's topic is pretty simple. Why do so many WWE fans accept cheap crap as quality entertainment? And I know immediately, because this happened on my on TikTok, I posted a clip of the Thursday live stream talking about Danhausen and all of that crap. And someone said, well, you must not like having fun or whatever, right? So I know people are going to say, well, wrestling's supposed to be fun, and I get that, right? I agree. Wrestling should be fun. You should enjoy the content that you're watching. But there's a difference between something being fun and something being low effort, right? There's a difference between a good comedy gimmick and a low effort rage bait shit trash garbage comedy gimmick, right? There's a difference between a comedic character and a character that seemingly is the human equivalent of a Reddit inside joke that's just been spread around the internet for far too long. And we'll bring this back to Danhausen. I think his gimmick is absolute shit. Like, I know that I'm gonna talk about it again on today's show. Every time it seems every time you call Danhausen's gimmick a joke, like it is, you critique it, people act like you've just insulted someone in their family bloodline. Like, oh, you just don't get it, man. You just don't understand comedy, bro. No, I get it perfectly. I think it's just absolutely low effort, garbage, AI infused writing slop. What frustrates me is wrestling fans have seen comedy gimmicks done well before. We know what it means to have good comedic wrestling. Dalton Castle exists. Orange Cassidy exists. The Outrunners exist. These are acts that are comedic and but understand the assignment of what it means to be a comedic gimmick, right? They're funny without sacrificing quality of the wrestling in the ring. They're entertaining without feeling like they belong in some middle school improv class. Like, we'll go back. Dalton Castle showed up at SuperCard of Honor last night. He ended up fighting with the Outrunners and winning the 6-man ROH championships. And one of the favorite pieces of Dalton Castle's gimmick is, as he's walking to the ring, he says something just totally preposterous. Heading to the ring, he takes the camera, and I think yesterday he said something about how he got a really bad sunburn. And he hopes that by winning gold tonight, it'll take his mind off of it or something. But he said it in a way that it was just like, the fuck did he just say? Like, you have to laugh, you have to snicker, but that's the mystique, that's the entertainment value of Dalton Castle. The Outrunners and them portraying 80s wrestlers like Hulk Hogan and Macho Man, and everyone eats it up. It's good. They understand what it means to be good quality wrestlers, but still have a little fun, tell a little, do a little comedy gimmick, but still being entertainment and still being able to tell a story that isn't garbage and slop. That's where we need to start out tonight, because wrestling fans desperately need to hold themselves, but also the WWE, to better standards. Right? So let's start with the biggest issue in wrestling. People confuse different with good. Just because something is different doesn't mean it's always good. Something can be unique, Danhausen, for example, and it can still suck. Something can be weird and still be low quality. Something can be memeable without actually being entertaining in the long term. Danhausen's gimmick feels like it's essentially them saying, let's get random, let's throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. That's the act. That's all it is. Let's throw stuff that doesn't make sense together and see if we can make sense. And somehow the fans have convinced themselves that this is an elite character because he talks funny and paints his face. And before somebody says something along the lines of, well, The Undertaker was unrealistic, or well, Gold Dust painted his face, just stop, please. Just stop. Undertaker committed himself to a presentation that felt important. So him being a wizard cowboy, whatever he was, a 6'8" wizard cowboy with carrying an urn around, and likes motorcycles. It felt like it mattered. The entrance was cool. The aura was cool. The matches were pretty good. His character elevated stories. What is Danhausen elevating? It's just Danhausen's elevating the piss break. Like, when the piss break is because Danhausen is on. Is he elevating The Miz? Is he elevating Kit Wilson? Is he elevating any of the characters involved with the story? Everyone immediately cringed when John Cena played along at WrestleMania. Danhausen feels like he's a Hot Topic cashier that accidentally wandered it backstage on a wrestling show. And the fans defend it because modern wrestling culture rewards irony over substance. And that's the issue. A lot of fans don't actually want great wrestling anymore. They just want big moments. They want the memes and the clicks and the stuff that they can, react to online. They just want content. We're in a content age where you can just produce slop and people will take it. WWE has resulted into using AI generated promos, and people eat it up as if it's the next great fucking thing, and it's just slop. It's not wrestling that these fans want. They just want content. They want something to fill their brain, to distract them for 3 hours a night from the realities of the world around them. And well, WWE has conditioned a large section of their audience to consume wrestling like you would consume McDonald's or some other form of fast junk food. Quick, a dopamine hit, cheap laughs, bad for you. You move on. Nothing has to mean anything anymore. A wrestler can get over because he points at a sign or he says, yeet, yeet, yeet. Fuck that, or you do a funny dance or you post a meme online and, oh, this is cinema, bro. No, it's not. It's low standard slop. And so before you twist this, though, on me and say, so you don't want wrestling to be funny? No, absolutely not. Some of the greatest angles in pro wrestling history have had comedic elements. Think of Kurt Angle. Think of The Rock. Eddie Guerrero. DX. But you notice something? Those gimmicks were great and they had comedic elements in them, but there's one thing that matters the most. It's the fact that these people could go in the ring. The comedy was not the main point. It only enhanced the character. The main point was their in-ring ability. That's why I brought up people like Don Castle and Orange Cassidy and the Outrunners, because the acts understand balance. Like, Dalton Castle is an over-the-top, flamboyant peacock. That's his character. He's a peacock. But once that bell rings, he can put on a damn good match, bro. He's intense. His matches have structure. The timing is good. The peacock gimmick doesn't destroy the credibility of the match. Same thing with Orange Cassidy. Like, there's a period of time, I think, where everybody didn't understand Orange Cassidy. But the guy can wrestle, dude. He understands psychology and pacing and when to do the comedy gimmick. Because comedy wrestling works best when there's an actual wrestler that can wrestle playing the gimmick. But Danhausen doesn't feel like that to me. Danhausen feels like he's only there to do comedic gimmicks. Like, the reason R-Truth has lasted so long as a comedy wrestler is because he can wrestle pretty damn well. Like, Danhausen is just mid, bro. Like, his gimmick almost entirely survives off internet culture and memes and clickbait and slop. This issue, though, is bigger than just Danhausen. The issue at large is about how wrestling fans have been lowering the standards for what qualifies as quality entertainment. Everything becomes about, well, I had fun at the show. Okay, great. I mean, McDonald's tastes great too. It doesn't make it a 5-star fucking restaurant. We need to stop acting like criticism means somebody hates having fun. No, bro. Criticism means fans care enough to want better. We should want better. And honestly, I think the WWE fans and fandom within the WWE has become conditioned to defend literally anything that has the branding attached to it. That jelly roll segment that goes way too long, bro, just enjoy it, bro. I mean, you have the Costco boys on your show, so you can't complain. Bad comedy skits, terrible scripted dialogues. There's no accountability for the WWE. There's no standards for the fans to set for themselves or for the wrestling. It's just consume the shit and clap. It's like you're circus animals and they're training you to accept mediocrity. And again, I'm not saying wrestling needs to be like some super serious MMA. Like, every match doesn't have to be pure rules. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm asking for. I like characters. I like personalities. I like absurdity only when it's done correctly. Like, Darby Allin is absurd, but he does it well. He understands his character and he takes it to the next level. And that's why he's champion right now, because the fans love it. The Outrunners are a perfect example of that. They're committed to the gimmick. They understand the aesthetic. They understand timing. They still wrestle like they're professionals. And the joke doesn't replace the wrestling. The joke complements the wrestling. The issue with bad comedy wrestling is when the joke is the entire substance. And then fans start pretending like the lack of depth is like the secret behind the genius. But it's not genius. Bad wrestling is sometimes just bad wrestling. And wrestling fans have become terrified of saying that Because online fandom has become tribal warfare. You criticize something somebody likes and they take it personally. They say you're toxic or you hate fun or you take wrestling too seriously. Meanwhile, the same fans will write 12 tweet threads explaining why a comedy gimmick changed their lives. Like, man, come on. Here's another uncomfortable truth. A lot of modern wrestling fans prioritize being, quote, in on the joke over actually investing in wrestling. That's why so many comedy gimmicks get protected online, because fans feel like they have to be part of some niche internet club. If you, quote, get Danhausen, you're part of the cool wrestling internet crowd. Suddenly you're the problem if you question it. And honestly, this mindset is what hurts wrestling long term. Nothing, because when everything becomes irony or ironic, nothing feels important anymore. Look at the eras that people most fondly remember about pro wrestling, right? The Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era, peak NXT Black and Gold. People remember these periods because the characters felt real. The rivalries mattered. The championships mattered. The wrestlers felt bigger, larger than life. And even the funny acts had stakes. Modern wrestling sometimes feel like everything's trying to be a meme before they become a star. And this is encouraged by the fans. That's why you see wrestlers chasing viral moments instead of building believable characters. Let me bring up another gimmick that I thought was beautiful and done perfectly. And it was comedy. It was meant to be comedic. It wasn't meant to be taken seriously, but it was perfectly done. Max motherfucking Caster, bro. The best wrestler alive gimmick. The Survive 5 with the best wrestler alive, bro. It was the greatest thing I saw on AEW. They need to bring him back. It was genius, bro. You have Max Caster hyping himself up like he's the next best, thing. And he's Brock Lesnar reincarnate without the sexual assault allegations. And then you have like Bobby Lashley come out there and beat him in 30 seconds. And now he has to act like he's still, it's just, that was good, bro. That was comedy wrestling done right. Not Danhausen. Hey, though, these guys make you laugh for 30 seconds on TikTok. Honestly, we got to stop rewarding that. We got to stop lowering the standard to just clickbait slop. Not because wrestling should become joyless, but because wrestling is better when comedy exists alongside credible wrestlers. Dalton Castle. ROH fans love Dalton Castle. He has credibility in his game. Orange Cassidy is a credible comedy wrestler. He knows how to wrestle. Even when Kurt Angle stopped joking, you really believed he could break your ankle. When Eddie Guerrero stopped, playing comedy and got really serious, you believed he could beat anybody. And balance matters in pro wrestling. Danhausen doesn't feel dangerous. He feels like he never feels like a believable character. There's no layers to his gimmick. It's just cosplay mixed with Twitter humor. It's like a dad joke gone wrong. Look at... Fine, if you enjoy it, I mean, I guess that's fine. Like what you want to like. I'm not hating you for it. You're not evil for laughing at the gimmick. But can we please stop pretending like this is like the next greatest wrestling character? Same with Mr. Iguana. It's the same difference. It's asking, have standards. Demand effort. Demand depth. Demand wrestlers that can make you care about the in-ring work and make you laugh. Because wrestling at its best creates emotion, not just irony. Honestly, it's not just WWE fans. Sometimes AEW fans do it too. Let's be fair. Every fan base has people who defend everything their company of preference does. But WWE's audience has become conditioned over decades to normalize weak creative decisions. So now when something mildly entertaining happens, people overpraise it because expectations are already low. And when you get somebody that pushes back, fans get defensive because deep down they know some of this stuff would get roasted if AEW did it. WWE fans were mocking AEW for bringing in Danhausen. Roll clip. Go back and search Twitter history, bro. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. Wrestling desperately needs honest opinions like this. Not this fake positivity. Oh, just enjoy wrestling. No, bro. Good wrestling deserves to be praised. Weak wrestling deserves to be criticized. That's how art forms evolve. And yes, wrestling is art when done correctly, with good psychology, good pacing, good character work, good emotion, good athleticism. And when wrestling is great, there's nothing that can beat it. Which is exactly why fans should stop settling for this lazy nonsense dressed up as creativity. Because wrestling can be smarter than that, fans can be smarter than that, and companies should be challenged to put on better products. This isn't about hating comedy. This is about demanding wrestling built on... it's about understanding that comedy works best when built on the strong foundation. And funny characters can still feel legitimate. Funny wrestlers can still put on really good matches. Funny gimmicks can still respect my intelligence. Dalton Castle proves that. The Outrunners proves that. Orange Cassidy proves that. The best comedy wrestling makes you laugh while making you still care about what's happening in the ring. So that's my take. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't. Maybe you think I'm absolutely batshit crazy and completely wrong. But one thing is for sure, wrestling fans need to raise their standards again. Because if we keep applauding mediocrity, eventually that becomes the standard. Till next time, folks. Stay saucy.
This is wrestling without the filter.